This is 219th day of heroic resistance of Ukraine. I'm Natalia Staroprava. We continue our briefings at the Mediacentru Ukraine. With us, we have Serhii Bratchuk, the spokesperson for Odesa Oblast military administration. Greetings. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to our heroes. Let's start with the news that some people were detained in Odessa, assisting Russia by collaborating, by diversion. So what is known currently and what can you share with us? There are 2 points. These are not people, they're inhumans. As they adjusted the enemy fire, which had the intent of destroying infrastructure and had the intent of murdering the Ukrainian civilians. Indeed, they adjusted the operation of the enemy drones attacking Odessa. Yesterday, according to the information, 2 such kamikaze drones, Shahid model, were destroyed over the Odessa Bay. As for the arrests conducted by the Security Service of Ukraine, the conclusions will be drawn, the investigations will be conducted, and the findings will be made. So we'd like to thank our law enforcement agencies, our special services for responding efficiently and have pulled these people from the dark. There were several Telegram channels that reported the hits and adjusted the enemy fire of these kamikaze drones by sending the information to the Russian curators, to the Russian recruiters. The investigations are still in progress, but most importantly, these Telegram channels and groups have been put out of operation. We know perfectly well that this may happen again, and our special services are pursuing the case. Let's wish them success, as they know well what they're doing. We know that for a while we'll be protecting our people from the hits from Shahid, be as successful as they've been. There were 2 hits on the administrative building 2 weeks ago, and then another building in the downtown of Odessa was made. So we have to thank our special services and the air defenses, of course. What is your assessment of the threat of such operation of the Russian agents in Odessa, and how can we counter them? Well, to begin with, the network of the Russian agents of the FSB identified recently close to the Odesa Oblast military administration, and the leader was apprehended, also known as Professor, and this is connected with Viktor Medvedchuk. So this is the connection I'd like to underscore. As for the network that could have operated in Odessa city and region, the investigations are in progress and we already have results to show for it. As for adjusting the fire, we are seeing it and we have made our conclusions. The armed forces of Ukraine draw the conclusions on the best way to bring down the kamikaze drone, and the special services are doing their part. The day before, they professionally conducted a high-class operation when there was Kabayev birthday, and there were provocations intended in Odessa, as if the Odessa residents are daydreaming about the Russian world and the Putin as the leader of this Russian world. So these arrests are also made periodically of those sleeper agents and infiltrated agents. We can't share all the details, obviously, but this is well under control, and when we have the outcomes to report, for we do so. Apart from adjusting the fire for the Russian enemy, what other goals are pursued by such Russian agents? Firstly, they try to share the information about the checkpoints, critical infrastructure sites, the military facilities. Moreover, you're seeing that the Russian Federation is a terrorist state and it is pursuing the tactic of attacking the critical infrastructure to do with the power supply, heating supply for the people as the winter is ahead, and we know what the attacks are likely to be aimed at. Therefore, we are planning counter diversion counter-sabotage, and this is an effort undergoing in Odessa 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, and we will never cease until we can show for our work, and we will persevere. As far as you know, since the full-scale invasion of Russia into Ukraine, how many such groups of agents have been exposed and apprehended in Odessa city and region? Well, I'm not prepared to give you the numbers today. If you do need the numbers, they will be made public, but perhaps a bit later, because the cases and the investigations are still in progress. It's a painstaking effort, obviously, and we need to work up the top to the masterminds and to the organizers, both in the Russian Federation and elsewhere, including Ukraine. And these are the enemy fire correctors, the saboteurs, the sleeper agents. They need to be identified and exposed as they pose violent threat to the people and critical infrastructure and military facilities. And we're working to identify the collaborators, the quisling, those trying to sow panic, trying to advocate for the Russian world. We need to counter them as well. And we've had such cases last week when the people, even in public transport, would apprehend such people who are not just starting debates but are trying to video and photo record the movements of the military, the checkpoints, and they've taken them to the national police headquarters, and indeed this has proven to be an enemy agent. The terrorist state continues to attack the innocent civilians in Ukraine. We've seen the tragical consequences that brings. We need to strengthen the security for the people in the country. So what additional security steps are made in Odessa? How are you trying to protect the people from the Russian attacks? I would like to express my condolences to the families and the loved ones of the people who died just last day, and all the Ukrainians who've lost their loved ones in our battle for independence, both military and civilians. My sincerest condolences. Let God accept them, as this is part of the bloody terror unleashed by the Russian Federation. You're asking about the security. We need to follow the algorithms to do with the air raid warnings. There are certain algorithms of contact during the kamikaze drone attacks, as they bring a lot of destructive power. People need to take to shelter. Should they hear this drone flying overhead, making a lot of rambling noise, it's called bike. So don't pretend to be an Oscar-nominated film director, as you might lose your life making a good making a good film, as the fragmentation elements can be lethal or can inflict a lot of damage. Please hide within buildings and use the two-wall rule. These are the minimum precautions. We keep reminding people of that. Another problem are the explosive threat. The Black Sea is stormy, and the mines scattered by Russia are now have become unguided weapons. They torn off their anchors, and they can detonate in the water or can detonate on the shores. So far we'll have to not take any strolls along the Black Sea. We've talked to Serhii Bratchuk, the spokesperson for Odesa Oblast military administration. Thank you for talking to us. Thank you. This is all we have for you today. Please follow the updates on the Mediacentru Ukraine resources and stay together, as this day brings us one day closer